Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. Excuse me. I put some information in my community and on my Facebook from a podcast called Writing on the Wall. And it goes into like the Balfour Declaration that was signed um, when Israel started to occupy Palestine. Also, the Schofield Bible and how there's coding within the King James and when that was implemented and why, and how non Jews but that are Zionists working for the Dark Cabal, so to speak, um, played a hand in implementing that in our culture in the United States for that specific reason and their takeover. Well, anyway, it goes into deeper information on all that if you're interested. I shared a link and some of the information and the dates over in my community if you just want to read like the dates and what it's all about. But then, or you can listen to the podcast and goes into deeper exclamation, yeah, about the whole thing. So, anyway, so I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing okay. My kitty made me step on her today. She was laying under my covers last night, which isn't allowed. She's got her own bed. I mean, she can sleep on my bed, just not next to my skin. I'm allergic to cats, so and she's got to get with the program. So she didn't like me kicking her out of my bed, so she made me pay for it. And Doug watched her stick her good paw right under my foot, and I felt it. So I was lifting up as she was doing it. Luckily, it wasn't full force to break her other little leg. Dork. Yeah, cheers. Doug was up very late last night talking to a guy he's actually going to trade some tools for one of our mini bikes with. Well, this guy is going through a divorce and I mean, she took the kids and the two dogs, so he's like super lonely, super depressed, and very suicidal. And Doug says, well, he doesn't like chase people down anymore to try and talk to them, but God is putting people in his way for him to talk to. Because I told him a couple years ago, he really needs to get out there and start talking to people because younger people on this planet need to have a little more comfort out of us older ones that a lot of people aren't showing. And that brings to mind something too, I'll tell you in a moment. But so he was up late with this guy and tell him things are going to be okay. Doug and I have both been through this type of thing, and he might even find love again. It might even be a different kind of love. Like with Doug, does he still love his ex? Well, he doesn't like her. But I think his love was like mine was a different type of love than what we have for each other. Ours is deeper on a different level than when you first get involved with somebody and you think it could be a forever everything and then you find out it isn't. It can be terribly devastating. So that's what this younger person is going through. Well, it just so happened that this morning I shared a um, song by Coldplay with Doug called Atlas, and some of the lyrics are, well, it's about the war in heaven. but some of the lyrics are, "I will carry your world and all your hurt," you know? So he sent that video around or sent that video to this guy and told him, to have a good day and things are gonna be okay. Last night when he was talking to him, he told him, "Get some sleep, eat something and sleep and then eat again." He said, "And take care of yourself," and that was really good advice. Then he sent him through this song, and I had been trying to get Doug to listen to this song for 10 years, at least 10 years, because of the lyrics and the esoteric knowledge that Coldplay has in almost all of their music, if not all of it. I have to say they have a new song called like Higher Power and a few other ones, and I'm just not into it. I just cannot get into their, and I love all their music for like a few decades, a couple decades now, but this new stuff, I don't know. Like I do know that like Chris Martin went through a divorce, and I know like his daughter helped him write one of his newest songs. She wrote the lyrics. Her name's Apple. But so but there's just something missing there. It's like their connection with God on that note, on that point, like they lost something now, or they're playing to a different audience for the money, and that's kind of what my heart's telling them. It's just telling me it's just not there like it was. But yeah, they've got a album called X and Y and a song that they're it starts like X is Y and then goes into explanations about stuff. Boy, I'm having a tough time spitting out explanation today. Wow. And then they got another song called like Square One, and one's off an album called Parachute, like um Spies and different ones that they have that just, and then one like God put a smile upon my face, and just so many that are just really connected to what's going on esoterically, spiritually, so like one of my favorites is there's a song they do with a band called the Chainsmokers, and it's called Hero. That's I love it. That's just kind of a corny song, but they have one called like couple that are just like horribly deep called Strawberry Swing and Violet Hill and The Scientist, and just wow, so many that I would say, hey, you can get a lot out of it, by listening to it if you like that type of music. It's modern indie rock. In other words, it's a mixture of everything and you don't know what it's going to be. So, a lot of orchestrational type, um, like the drummer is also a violin player, like Chris Martin plays the guitar and the piano, and they're all pretty talented. So, yeah. Oh, so to my topic. I was listening to a Robin's Hood, and he was playing clips from Jonathan Kleck where he gets all excited and he'll be clapping. He's like, "Yay, the king is coming back and everybody's gonna die," but like not telling people like you're gonna be okay or anything. It's just like just all joyful that he thinks. everybody's just going to be wiped out, and that's how we fix things on this planet. It's like, wow. Now, I've been at the point where I think that everybody is working for Satan, and they should all be wiped out because they really aren't human. I have thought that. So I can't really say what's going on in Jonathan Kleck's head. But if it isn't on that note, I can't really like, because nowhere in Revelation does it talk about the rapture. Not like that. It's not like everybody's going to be raptured. We'll meet them in the clouds. That is not the same. And in fact, the original terminology for that is in the air. That's ethereal. So things have been so changed. It's like I passed around a meme because, see, like Christ's spirit came through the water, which is us. There's the water and the blood and the seas of humanity, the water. Christ came up through the water. And even if he didn't have a family, even if he wasn't born through a woman, or didn't have a family of his own, that mother still carried the DNA of that son. When you have a baby, you still carry some of the DNA from your child. I think that's a built-in mechanism where you should be connected enough to help guide your child because you have a tiny part, that gift from God, to help you raise that child. That's what I think it's for. But so I shared a meme. One of the first memes I shared was there was dudes in a boat, and it looked like they threw Jonah off the side um, because he didn't do what God told him to do, and he's like yelling, "I'm drowning!" And Christ comes over there and shakes his hand. He says, "Hi, I'm Jesus. Hi, drowning. I'm Jesus." Well, some people might not think that's very funny, but because he was walking on water to get over there, I thought it was funny. Because people take things so literal because they don't know the language, and so they're going to take it how it's written and not read anything deeper into it because they're lazy, and that's where their brains stay. They wouldn't think outside of the box because they've been taught not to question the scriptures and just do what you're told and do what your preacher tells you and don't ever question anything, you know? I thought that was funny. But then you got these ones that'll twist stuff on purpose, and maybe this guy just wants to talk to me. I don't know. Maybe he's lonely. I'm not sure. And I kind of think that that could be something to do with it. But I had written to him because we've had our little spat sort of, and I'm like, I know, or I said, write you these things and you don't even hear what I'm saying. He goes, well, I read your words, but I can't hear you. And then I wrote something back, like metaphorically. I said, maybe you can feel me, LOL. It's like, so people are going to twist what they want to twist for their own benefits, whatever. That's what they do. so so I give them a little attention, It's like, okay, whatever. It's a guy over in Doug's Patriot group. So it's like, okay. Yeah, Doug's got a group, and Facebook won't even let him post in it. Not anything really important. Oh, oh, oh. That was yesterday. Awaken with JP had on. I was telling you about another comedian that he had on there. They had done a podcast. It was Tyler. Fisher, Fichier, I do believe. Funny guy. Well, the thing about it is, little white guy got discriminated against. Like, he went to, um, he's gonna be doing live shows, like, all around the country, like, on Joe Rogan's Got a Stage. He's gonna be doing stand-up there, other places. But I think it was in New York where he lived that he had went to, like, apply for a job as a comedian at this place, and they turned him down because of the color of his skin, because they wanted somebody that was of color. And that, and then again, he had another manager that let him go. Like, he fired him because uh, white guys just weren't being hired anymore for stand-up comedy. Like, like no discrimination, you know. So yeah. Now I do think we are seeing, you know, um, that a lot of white people are going to feel like the minority, you know. And I've seen it. I've seen it out of used to be where the more well-to-do were like the working class, you know. You could afford to have a little bit of luxury, like maybe own your own home if you consider that a luxury. I consider that like a necessity, that people should have their own home and that ability, or, you know, like insurance on your vehicles. But to even, like, if you want to take your wife out for a nice meal or something, they've made it in our society now where the average person can't even go out on a date with their own spouse or treat their kids to like an amusement park or a movie or whatever, because our money's got to go for other people's wars, you know? And that's the part that really pisses me off, to the tune of, I mean, $9 trillion to other countries. That's an awful lot of money that could get a lot of people in our country off the street. And if the working class people weren't taxed so heavily, they would be able to afford the luxuries they deserve from working for that. You know, you're taxed on the money you make. You're taxed on everything you purchase. And then if you go to resell it again, they want to tax you again. You know, it's just like, yeah, something's got to change on that. No, $9 trillion to help out. And we're not done yet. According to these slime that say they rule over us. Oh, Lord help me for my thoughts just there, but yeah. I'd like to lay hands on you, but not in a good way, if you get my drift. You people that steal from the hardworking people in this country. That's okay. I have every faith that God's going to stop these monsters in their tracks. It's just a matter of time. And I know people are like, well, Christians have been saying that for a long time. Yeah, but we didn't have the internet and the ability to get up in their faces like we are now and let them know. Like, if you are caught one on one, like if I had to deal with some stupid, um, ignorant thing one on one, they aren't going to like it because there's less of them than there are of us, you know. So, anyway. But it does really, really piss me off that people have to watch what they eat. They have to watch what they buy when they're working their asses off. And then we're sending armaments to other countries. That just really pisses me off. I'm okay. I'm talking about other people. I want my friends to be able to have a nice life, if they want to go have a couple weeks on a beach somewhere or whatever, they should be able to do that. They're working hard, you know. But no, our government wants to cram you all in cities and make it so you can never own your own home. Yeah, that's where I get pissed. Because that still is the American dream for most people. They're really got quite a bit of the younger generation a little brainwashed on this eco-friendly shit when the biggest polluters are their factories, you know. I think it was Henry Ford's son, or maybe it was Henry Ford. There was one of them that had a steam-powered, steam-heated factory that nothing was petrochemical. Maybe that was them. I'm not sure. One of them was a dirty Freemason, and the other one was had a shit together. I think it was the son that had his shit together. I'm not certain though. It could be the other way around. One of the two. So, anyway. So in the last few days, and it was just a couple weeks ago, Doug said, well, like none of his stuff is selling that he has on Marketplace. And I said, it will. It's going to turn around. It just started turning around for him. So what I thought was true. It was yesterday or this morning. I think it was yesterday. I was making coffee, either one of the days anyway. They run together, whatever. But he said something to me, and I said something back. And he said, and I was wrong about something. I said, well, then I was wrong, and he says, you just hate it when you're wrong. I said, no. I said, you just hate it when you're wrong. He said, oh, well, that's why God gave me you, because so I could help him out of that type of thing. I said, I do know that is true. And he says, although it's so rare when you are wrong. And I said, yes, isn't it? What am I supposed to say? Yeah, I rarely am. No, he had said something, and it was where, um, like it was sort of confusing. It wasn't that I didn't know anything or that I was actually wrong. I was mistaken on the details or something. I can't remember what it was or how it went down, but it was just funny because, nobody does want to be wrong, but if we find out we are and we have guidance to kind of help us out of that, that's a good thing. I have guidance. It's not my own, I don't take credit for it. I don't need the credit for it. I believe my reward is waiting for me. And that's how I feel like about relationships. I don't feel like I've ever met a husband and a wife on this planet that are doing it absolutely right. And maybe they do, and maybe they have something that I haven't been able to obtain. But I do hope for my future that I will have somebody love me the way a man is supposed to love a woman and all that it entails. That's what I hope for myself. I hope that for everybody, you know. From beginning to end, ideally. Like you meet somebody, you fall in love, and that's your one and only. It's like, isn't that a dreamy thing? Yeah. A person can hope. If it were Doug in the future, hey, if God can help him, you know, or whatever. But my hopes and my desires and my heart are true. I don't hide nothing from nobody. That's who I am and how I think and what I always ever wanted in my life. Who doesn't, you know? So that's what I feel like. Did Doug love his ex more than he loved me? In a way. Am I jealous of that? No, because I always wanted that same thing too. And that's what we have in common. So we have a different type of love on a different level, you know. Maybe that is makes for the best relationship. I have no clue. But I can only be honest about how I actually feel. I believe I'm going to know him in the future, but I don't believe it's going to be as my one and only. I think his heart has a one and only, and that's not me, you know. So, but I do believe that a lot of people don't believe that there's going to be any genders in heaven, and you're not going to. It says you're going to meet your family again, you know, and you won't be given into marriage. Well, maybe you already are, you know. Who knows? This, see, what I'm trying to say is the scriptures have been so twisted, just like with the name Noah yesterday that I looked up for you. I have my suspicions anyway that it was all hogwash in that respect because a lot of the scriptures, not a lot, all of the scriptures were passed down orally and written down hundreds of years after the fact. You know, that doesn't mean that it wasn't inspired by God. It just means that mankind had a great big chance to insert whatever was going to benefit them in all that. And they did. And it does twist people's minds, you know. If you think you're looking for help from a man and it's actually a woman that's going to help you, but you're sitting there verbally beating the shit out of the one person that's going to help you, how would that go over for the world? That's just like one scenario of what's going on with the scriptures that people don't understand, you know, that there's a spirit of God that carries the Christ spirit that is the divine feminine energy, period. It's that nurturing, loving softness, that gentle voice is not a masculine thing. The energy that was given to the woman, that's from God our Father. And that is masculine energy. And that's what everything is, including the feminine. But he is not feminine. He gave that to woman. Like I've explained before, I can bake bread. I'm that creator. Doesn't make me that loaf of bread. you know. Anyway, so it's really weird about Doug. Sometimes he can be so compassionate and other times not. But too, it does depend on who he's dealing with. Um, it really does, you know, and even whether it's a male or a female, you know. Lucky for him, I don't feel the same way, you know. I'm gonna go over on my Facebook and see what memes I have that were. I have a couple that were pretty funny, kind of morbid. Like if people are such sticks in the mud, they're not gonna really appreciate anything. A friend of mine just put Cindy Crawford versus Bruce Jenner. They do look similar, except Bruce, you can still see his Adam apple, whatever, Caitlyn, whatever they want to call that monstrosity. Oh, here's a good one. Oh, wait, if I can read it. The differences in the fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing, it changes you if you take the genetic editing. Carl Schwab. And then underneath out of Daniel 2:43, iron will not mix with clay. And no, it won't. Americans who told the truth when the highest ranking, most decorated Marine at the time writes a book explaining how WAR is a racket, but you still don't get it, and it's called brainwashing. And that was General Smedley Butler, was a United States Marine Corps Major General, the highest rank authorized at that time, and at that time of his death, the most decorated Marine in U.S. history. He received 18 military, 18 military medals, 5 for valor, and is one of the 19 men to receive the Medal of Honor twice. And that's on my Facebook if you want to learn more about the book he wrote about how it is a racket. And then I got, how about we raise Americans poor out of poverty before we save the poor from in other countries. And then some people, wait, yeah, some people will not hear you regardless of how loud, how truthful, how loving, or how profound you speak. Wish them well and let them go. Then I have a cat hugging its pillow with one eye, and it says metallic cat. Sleeps with one eye open, gripping its pillow tight. Enter Sandman, that song. I can't read that one because has to do with poking a needle in your arm and all their bull that we can't talk about on YouTube. Don't forget to pay your taxes. United States. Other countries are depending on it. Palestine, sorry, David. Here's one because some people don't understand why the Slavic nations are so important to understand even who the Khazarian Jews are. You know, a friend of mine wrote, "Hey Google, why why was the Austro-Hungarian Empire so bad?" And Google says the empire was simply too diverse and its people increasingly demanded determination. The end of the monarchy was overdetermined, or that's not right, was, yeah, determined with the middle. Oh, with the murder of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He had been assassinated by the southern Slav nations. Austria/Hungary invaded Siberia, beginning the Great War. And those were all related to Hebrew-speaking nations. Oh, I sent around, it's a cartoon. I want to hold you, and the person goes, yay. And it says, accountable for your actions. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know. And then I wrote on top of the Statue of Liberty that George Orwell had written the most effective way to destroy people is to deny them and obliterate their own misunderstanding of history. And on top of the Statue of Liberty, I wrote, odd, the Statue of Liberty has a ball and chain on her left foot. That doesn't seem so free? And isn't it odd? It's on her left leg. Somebody had called the Statue of Liberty like William Penn's wife or whatever, and I'm thinking, yeah, well, is she a wife or a prisoner? Because she's got a ball and chain. And then I started thinking that, you know, how they'll say if you're married, they'll call it the old ball and chain. Just some coincidences. A lot of people don't, and I don't believe in coincidences. Now, this is pretty tacky, but it's the origin of a bobsled. This guy died, his name was Bob, and they're sliding down the hill on him, dressed like cavemen. And it said, even though Bob dead, he's still a lot of fun. Whoa. And then somebody when I first saw that meme, underneath they had written, that was before they made the toboggan. Toboggan. That was funny. And then it shows Santa. He's in a psychiatrist's office laying down when Santa asks, you tell him you want your land back for Christmas. And all those res kids asking for land back, land back. Ooh, that's a good one out of Proverbs. 18:13, I think. The answer before listening, that is the folly and shame. Ooh, I like this one, that you don't ever tell a woman that her place is in the kitchen because that's where the knives are kept. Kabbalism is the system of Jewish mysticism and magic and is the foundational element of modern witchcraft. Virtually all witches and sorcerers of this century were Kabbalists. William J. Sheinbelin in The Dark Side of Freemasonry and Judaism. And a friend had written that, the symbols that were taken and they were made into something ugly. And I wrote back, they use it different. And then we were talking about the song that I told this guy, This Is Us, called Toy Soldiers. So similar to what's going on with the people that are um like if you send 144,000, but not all of them ended up standing in the end, and it says step by step, one by one, we all fall down, toy soldiers. Well, I didn't. I mean, I might have fell down, but I was able to get back up. Oh, this one's good. Don't be silent about speaking the truth, for when you put a bridle on your mouth, they will put a saddle on your back. Oh, a friend shared this is true. I slay demons, big egos, and false energy. And if you haven't looked at the origins of Ham, the father of the black people in the Bible Mysteries Explained, Ham, the father of black people, it's really interesting. And how they didn't actually start in Africa. Now here's another one. You know how it's like says fire will come out of the two witnesses' mouths? Um, Jesus flooded the earth once with water. Now we will flood the heaven and the earth with fire. Um, See, now on that point, and the guy who was arguing with me about he couldn't hear me, um, he loved that. He also worships the mother goddess. But he loved that. Jesus flooded the earth, and now they're going to flood it with fire. And these people think that this is like, wow, that's cool. Well, if God took all our souls and nobody was hurt anyway, it wouldn't really matter, but they don't tell you that part. Yeah, a lot of goddess worship. What shall we call her? Lady by the lake? No, we call her put some clothes on her. She doesn't like that. Huh. How about this? A true leader never likes a lavish life. What the ever? Why, you got a lavish life you want to give to somebody else? Here's out of the Quran. And we were revealed to the children of Israel in the book, saying, you will surely do mischief in the land twice, and you will surely become excessively overbearing. There's similarities in well, they believe in Jesus for one thing. So yeah, there's more than just similarities. That's what that Schofield Bible was introduced into the land of Palestine to deceive those people for when the Hebrews wanted to come in and overtake them. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. Well, yeah, that is very true. Huh, I'm not crazy. I prefer the term mentally hilarious. I hope one of my friends that is mentally hilarious sees that. I like this. I cannot be held responsible for what my face does when you talk. Here's this guy that came against me. Um, you're pretty good at the scorched earth. I don't think we have the same God, but then again, I worship the goddess, not God. And then he put in Deuteronomy, God outlines the laws by which Israel is to wage war. Most notably among those, Israel is forbidden from fairly aggressive forms of warfare, such as scorched earth policy. They are also required to give cities a chance to surrender before the commencement of hostilities. War in the Christian world view. Why did God command war? Well, you know what? For one thing, you don't mix Judaism and Christianity and their scripture and ours, because ours is to awaken people from this bullshit, not to keep it going. Like the fire coming out of our mouths, and the war we're waging isn't actually, and you do give people a chance until, you just pretty much have to say something to clear up all the nonsense. Yes, now this is how I feel too. Warning to all the medical practitioners, doctors, and nurses. I was just carrying out the orders as not a legal defense. You will be on trial for WAR crimes and held accountable. Your duty is to inform your patient the is experimental, no guarantee of immunity. You can still spread the vaccine, blah, 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 blah. You know what it does, type of thing. Oh, they don't like this because genuinely is safe. Genuinely. Share anyway. Well, we're not genuinely wanting these people to be held for war crimes. We're seriously telling them that what you did to keep money in your pocket instead of going to scrub a toilet, you preferred to put your scrubs on and go in and lie to people, and we're proving it, and yeah, you're gonna be held accountable. How is that? Every single one of them that has perpetuated this or tried to keep this, now it's not wanting to post it, just sitting there spinning, spinning. Probably spin all day there because they don't want me to post it. Well, I'll just sit there and let it spin then. Actually, I'll go one step further. I'm going to copy it and go and paste it, because then sometimes it goes on right away and they don't stop you before it's too late. Let me see if that worked. I bet it will too, because their suck checkers didn't have, no, it's not wanting to do that. Oh yeah, it did. It went. Okay. And this doesn't have the suck checkers crap on there right now. Anybody that studied anything about microorganisms knew that that was malarkey, and they play a hand in that and are a party to that. They're beyond stupid and probably and could be highly evil. Ooh, what was the last living thing you said about yourself in front of a child who adores you? Parenting is political. Boy, that's true. Gotta share that one. Yeah, you see some parents that are so, like, sad, and they don't give a lot of hope to their children. They kind of leave them, like, empty in a lot of ways. Well, you know what? I went to go and share that, and then it came up with something else. Sometimes if I share something and it looks like an image, the image might go away, and then it will leave some kind of like political rhetoric that I don't even want to be affiliated or associated with. I'm going to check. Yes, it did. It did that. It didn't share the image. It just showed a website. Parenting is political. Well, it's spiritual too, but there is a level of politics in the whole thing within a family. Mainly, your parents are the president and the cabinet, but they're still not the creator. Boy, these things just aren't wanting to go on there today. That's odd. Yeah, the Coldplay song that I did share called Atlas, it isn't the original video from Atlas, which is really great, but it's a lyric video from the new Coldplay song, which was in 2011, from the Hunger Games movie. The start of the video shows how Syria was before war broke out in March 2011. The middle and the end show how it is now, with millions of people leaving the country to find somewhere safer. That's pretty sad. Ah, my friend, I'm not heartless. I just learned to use my heart less. I better give it a hug. Stop that. That just means you're like everybody else. Don't do that. Ooh, a guy named Immanuel Kant, Kant. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Let's see about this. They don't want your soul, they want your energy. They want you to be a victim, pissed off at the world and everyone in it. They feed off division, chaos, uncertainty, and fear. Don't give it to them. Draw your spiritual line in the sand and stay on the side of truth and do not waver. Yep, that's a shareable one. So true. Actually, if you're doing them a service, they don't care if you're happy or sad. They're going to treat you dirty whether you're happy, sad, they don't care. Let's see what this says. Incubus, succubus, queen of heaven, queen of hell. She is temptation, she is salvation. Melancholia and elation. She is destroyer and she is creator. She is succubus and purest virgin angel. She is beyond good and evil. She is angel. She is devil and darkness, and she is light. She is beyond good and evil. She is the phoenix rising higher. She is a falling seraphim. She is the chance that holds the sacred fire. Oh, the chalice. She is dead. She is damned. She is beyond good and evil. Queen of heaven, queen of hell. She should be kind, but never mind. She's beyond good and evil. I disagree. There's a queen of heaven and a queen of hell, and the queen of hell is not um, the same person. She might learn to be someday, but right now that's definitely not what that is at all. Native Outlaws. It shows like a Superman on top with a F on its cape, and it says faster than a speeding arrow, more powerful than a mighty buffalo, able to leap tall teepees in a single bound. It's Fry Bread Man, okay, fighting for truth, justice, and the Indian way. Aye. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna share that too. Fry Bread Man. I went to a car show with Doug one time, and my oldest son was old enough to babysit, so yeah, we're going to go and have a good time. But I decided to give the house a call before we came home in case, well, really in case they wanted something from the store and to see how they were doing. My oldest tells me, well, we made fry bread. Well, that means that they had put grease in the deep fryer, which is super dangerous. and made fry bread when I was gone. That scared the shit out of me because I had my youngest one almost set the house on fire one time. I was outside working. We have a support beam, and I had a macrame owl that Doug had made some years back. I had this macrame owl hanging on there, and John set it on fire. I asked him what were you thinking. He didn't know. He was about 6. And I was outside shoveling sand. We were leveling our driveway with fill so we could put gravel on top of it. So I don't know. He said he was going to go in the house, but something seemed a little odd. It was like a few minutes, and I thought, okay, this is not right. And I ran in and just in time to see the flames. I'm like, got it put out, and I'm like, what were you thinking? And he's like, he didn't know. I'm like, wow. Something told me just get in that house, and I did. And, you know, instincts. That's me listening to the Spirit of Christ within myself, you know. Really, my instincts have saved me so many times. I shared a martial artist woman over on my Facebook page. She just kicked the shit out of this great big thing, reminded me of me and my ex. He would come in and try and like punch me or something, and I'm quicker. And then she got her legs involved, and that last kick she gave him sent him flying. And yeah, it reminds me of me. I've been in them type of battles, you know. They think they're big, they think they're going to hurt you, but they don't know. Another one last week I sent through a move that I've done before. They come skipping in and they got their knee up, but you use their leg for a stepping stone, and then when you're on their leg, you take your knee and you go up under their chin, so you come flying up onto their leg and under their face, you know. How you like that? And I've actually done that move, so it's not fake. It's all real. Not that I go back and fight battles again. If I had to, I will. In fact, I'm way more skilled now than I was back then. So, monsters, they don't really train to kill, although they've been trained to kill, a lot of them that tried to kill me. But their lazy, evil ways kept them from diligently training. Like I never stopped. And I know they did. And that's the fear of coming against somebody that actually is a warrior for God, because God gives you those openings. They're always there. It's like, because He made everybody and He can just tell you what to do in those dangerous situations like that. And it's true. But yeah, I'd still spar, or I'd teach somebody if they wanted to learn self-defense. Darn right I would. I think all little girls should be taught martial arts. I really do. Especially with these freakazoid men coming in our restrooms and stuff. Damn right. Teach them little girls how to defend themselves. Because if other men are approving of the falsity of it all, putting women and children in danger, we need to learn to take care of ourselves, because nobody's going to help defend us in a lot of times, and a lot of times they haven't. Then again, if you have a child with a temper problem, well, martial arts could help if you have the right formative years with a parent that isn't crazy, like a mental fighter, but you have somebody with honor and they're only learning to defend themselves, not actually destroy another human being, then I would say, yeah, go for it. But if you are around violence and upsets, and it's probably not a good idea. And I never did teach my children martial arts. They learned that not from me, you know. They're good at it. They're not as good as me, but they're good at it. Good enough for the average person. I'm just not the average person. I listen to God. Like I tell you, He shows me openings. That's what these fools never realize when they think they're going to pick on a woman, you know. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Love y'all.